Okay. My name's Brad Averna. I'm 20 years old. This is Alex Posa.
Hi. I'm 19.
He's 19.
Okay. Do you think a man is the only one who can be considered an aggressor in a relationship?
No.
Yeah, not necessarily.
I don't believe. Honestly, I've read plenty of articles about cases where the woman can be the aggressor in a relationship. Yet, like, it's like, what would you call it? Like, when you would consider like men to be the aggressors normally. You know, it's stereotyping. So I mean, you would assume like if there's an abusive relationship happening, it's usually the man hitting
you're
the
stereotyping
woman.
the gender.
Yeah, because you would think that the women are the inferior ones, like that are being beaten or being the victims, when really sometimes it's the opposite way around. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of aggressors that are men who hit their wives or hit or their partner in that sense. But I mean, it definitely could work both ways, and it should be recognized that as an equal in a weird way.
Even though you don't hear about women like being violent
Towards men.
towards men. It's rare, but it happens.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you consider partner violence or relationship violence? Like an example. Do you think it could be only physical?
No, there's verbal.
No, there's physical, verbal, mental abuse. I mean,
Mental comes with verbal, I guess.
in a weird way. Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Do you think verbal is like a segue into mental?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, verbal violence is
Even physical can lead to mental
yeah,
abuse.
mental scarring and
It's honestly, like, I mean, that's easily a topic of abuse. I mean, again, it could work both ways. I mean, a woman can do the same thing to a man. It just you got to look at it equally.
Now, what would you do if, like, instead of your friend being the victim, what would you do if your friend was the one who was the aggressor? How would you handle that situation?
If my friend was the aggressor,
Whether your friend is a boy or girl, how would you handle if your friend was the aggressor in the relationship?
what would I do?
Like, would you confront them?
I'm not sure if that's the smartest way. I mean, honestly,
That's
I
tough.
mean, if it's a friend, I mean,
that's tough.
if it's a friend, I mean, I guess I would approach them and be like, listen, this is like that's not really acceptable. Like, you shouldn't really do that. I mean, if it's like on the edge, like kind of friend where I'm not really close with them, I'd have to call an authority or something. You know,
It depends how
how
physical the
severe.
violence is.
Yeah, it really depends. Like, and if and that's if the wife or whoever's the one getting abused like doesn't want to speak up for herself or himself.
I'm Lauren, I'm 18, and I'm a female.
I'm Mackenzie, I'm 19, and I'm a female.
Okay. 78% of the abused are women, while the other 22% are men. Does this information surprise you?
No,
Not at all.
not really.
Do you think it's more likely that a woman's abused?
Yeah.
What do you consider to be relationship or partner violence? You can give an example.
Like
or-
physical abuse and like verbally harassing the person over and over again.
So you don't think it can only be physical? You think it could be
Yeah.
things than that? Okay. Lastly, what would you do if you witnessed your friend being the aggressor in a relationship instead of being the one that is abused? What would you do if they were abusing their partner?
Probably talk to them.
Yeah, take them aside and tell them to stop.
So you confront them?
Yeah, and if like it went further than that, I'd probably talk to someone like who's in charge of them, like a parent or something, like let them know what's happening.
Ian Cooney, 20, male.
Among acts of sexual violence committed against women, 100% of rapes, 92% of physical assaults, and 97% of stalking acts were perpetrated by men. Does this surprise you at all?
I don't know that it does surprise me. You don't often hear about women stalking or raping other women, but that's probably where the statistic comes from. It may happen more often than the statistics show, but it isn't vocalized as often.
Do you find it surprising at all that sexual violence against men is also mainly male violence? It's 70% of rapes, 86% of physical assaults, and 65% of stalkings.
I feel that men are less likely to, again, vocalize that a woman has assaulted them. It's almost seen as undermining to their masculinity. So to say that a man attacked them rather than saying a woman attacked them is definitely seems to be more likely.
But do you still find it surprising that males being like raped or physically assaulted by another male, like do you find those statistics kind of high and like crazy or surprising?
Possibly, if a person is in the mindset of someone who would willingly rape someone else, I don't know that being a male or a female changes my opinion on the matter much.
What do you consider relationship or partner violence? You can give it like an example.
Anything. It could be physical, emotional, verbal, yelling, screaming. Physical would just be pretty much any kind of abusive contact. And then emotional is obviously harder to see, but it happens probably the most often.
Okay. What would you do if you witnessed your friend being the aggressor in a violent relationship?
You hope that you would try and step in and do something about it. I feel like it varies depending on who it is and what's going on. You always want to say that you're going to step in and stop whatever's going on, but the heat of the moment, the situation often dictates what you would actually do.
Do you find it different if your friend was being the victim rather than the aggressor?
I feel like I would. It sounds bad, but if it's someone you don't know, you tend to stay out of it. If it's someone you do know that's being attacked, you want to step in and help that person.